From the outside, my life looked perfect. We lived in a beautiful house. My mum always wore a smile, and my stepdad played the part of the perfect family man. But I never trusted him. Something always felt off. For my mum's sake, I just kept quiet and smiled along. But deep down, I knew he was hiding something, and I was determined to find proof so my mum could finally see his real face. One evening, I got my chance when I overheard him on the phone. He said, "I'll get my wife to sign the papers. Don't worry, nothing will go to the little brat. Everything will be mine." I burst into his study. "I know what you're up to." He turned, his face like thunder. "Stay out of this." No. Our argument escalated quickly. He grabbed my arm and tried to drag me out of the room. In the struggle, I stumbled backward, knocking over a large vase. It shattered, sending water and flowers everywhere. Just then, my mum ran in. "What happened?" "Mum, he's a fraud. He's planning to take everything from you by making you sign some document." She looked from me to my stepdad, her face pale. "Stay away from my daughter, you jerk." She charged at him, but her foot slipped on the water from the broken vase. She fell hard, her head hitting the floor. From that moment, my life was turned completely upside down. At the hospital, the doctors told me Mum had survived, but she was in a coma. To make things worse, my stepdad blamed me for everything. He told everyone I was unstable, that I was the one who pushed Mum. He convinced them I needed to be locked away in a mental hospital. "I'll make sure you never get out of that place." He sneered at me when we were alone. "I'll make you pay, I promise." I whispered back. "We'll see about that," he said with a cruel smile. And so I ended up in Blackwood Mental Hospital. The place was beyond creepy. The staff were cold and rude to the patients, and every person there seemed lost in their own dark world. I knew I had to escape this place. I couldn't end up like them. I tried to escape many times, but failed with each attempt. My last try landed me in solitary confinement. The dark, eerie room was suffocating. I heard shuffling noises that made my heart race, and then a soft voice broke the silence. "Oh my God, who are you?" I gasped. "It's okay. I'm Elizabeth," the voice whispered back. "Hey, are you hungry?" Elizabeth passed me some snacks through a small hole in the wall, and we started talking. She told me her mum was a nurse and they lived in the nurses' quarters of the hospital. She even shared a spooky story about how Blackwood was built on an old graveyard. She was so talkative, and before I knew it, morning was breaking. "The sun is coming up. I need to go. My mum will be worried when she wakes up," she said. "You're a good person, Rue. I like you, I guess." "Thanks," I replied. "You're not bad yourself." The next morning, I heard shouting outside my door. It flew open, and a tall, handsome guy with glasses stood there. He looked like he'd just stepped off a magazine cover. "Here," he said, reaching out a hand. "Let me help you." His grip was strong and warm. "I'm Dr. Ken, the new psychiatrist here. I've been reviewing your case, and something doesn't add up." His words were like the first ray of sunshine after a long storm. Maybe, just maybe, this was my chance. I told him everything about my stepdad, the papers, the fall. He listened intently, his expression serious. "I believe you," he said finally, "and I'm going to help you." For the first time in a long time, I felt a flicker of hope. Dr. Ken became my ally. He started his own investigation, looking into my stepdad's finances and asking questions around the hospital. He even arranged for me to have supervised visits with my mum, who was slowly starting to wake from her coma. During one visit, I held her hand and told her everything again. A tear rolled down her cheek. She squeezed my hand. She remembered it. Meanwhile, Elizabeth was my secret weapon. She overheard nurses talking about my stepdad and how he'd been bribing one of the senior doctors to keep me locked up. She found the forged documents in that doctor's office and smuggled them out to me. With Elizabeth's evidence and Dr. Ken's support, we had everything we needed. We went to the police. My stepdad was arrested and the corrupt doctor was fired. Walking out of Blackwood as a free person felt surreal. My mum made a full recovery and we started our new life, finally, safe and together. His grip was firm. For the first time in what felt like forever, I felt safe. And I have to admit, I couldn't stop staring at him. He was just that handsome. "Who are you?" he asked gently. "My name is Dr. Hank, one of the psychiatrists here. We're going to make sure you're comfortable." As he turned to the orderlies, his voice became stern. "No more solitary confinement for patients. Our responsibility is to treat them with respect. They are our guests, not prisoners." My admiration for him grew with every word. He genuinely cared. Later that day, as I was getting my dinner, someone shoved me hard from behind. I turned to see Amanda, the girl from the room next to mine. She was always stirring up trouble, like she took some kind of twisted pleasure in making my life harder. A moment later, Dr. Hank was by my side. "Is everything okay?" "Yeah, just Amanda being Amanda," I mumbled. "Don't let her get to you," he said softly. "She's dealing with a lot." Over the next few weeks, I met with Dr. Hank every day. He listened, I mean really listened, and he believed in me. He told me I was making incredible progress. For the first time, I started to believe I could actually get out of here soon. My sister Elizabeth visited often, keeping my spirits up and bringing me little things from home. About a month went by. One night, I was jolted awake by Amanda's terrified screams coming from the next room. My heart pounded in my chest, but there was nothing I could do. I just had to wait for morning. But when morning came, Amanda was gone. I rushed to tell Dr. Hank. "I can't find Amanda. She was screaming last night, and now she's just gone." "That's strange," he said, looking concerned. "We should keep an eye out." Suddenly, the asylum's alarm bells started blaring. Someone was trying to escape. It turned out to be a new patient causing chaos. They caught him and put him in Amanda's old room right next to mine. At lunch, my mind was racing, trying to figure out what happened to Amanda. I had to know. As I picked up my food, I quietly slipped a fork into my pocket. I was going to pick her lock and find out. That night, just as I was about to make my move, the new guy appeared at his door. "What's a beautiful girl like you doing in a place like this?" he said with a smirk. "You must have driven the boys crazy out there." I rolled my eyes. "Enough already. Go away." But he just leaned back like he owned the place and winked, making my cheeks burn. He started eating his food, still throwing flirty looks my way. It was infuriating. Later that night, I finally picked the lock and snuck out to search for Amanda. But I hadn't gotten far when I heard an orderly coming my way. My heart stopped. But then a loud crash from down the hallway sent the orderly running in the opposite direction. I was saved. Before I could even process what happened, someone pulled me into the shadows. It was the new guy. "You made that noise," I whispered. "Why?" he grinned. "Because I couldn't let them catch a pretty girl like you." After that night, Adrian and I became friends. He was wild and a little crazy, but he was so much fun. We started sneaking around together almost every night. We never found any sign of Amanda, but every trip with Adrian was an adventure. We'd steal snacks from the kitchen, pull harmless pranks on the orderlies, and just talk for hours. Another month passed, and I realized I loved spending time with Adrian, but deep down I was still torn. Dr. Hank represented my hope for freedom, a normal life. Adrian, on the other hand, represented a different kind of freedom, one filled with excitement and rebellion right here, right now. I was falling for both of them, and I had no idea what to do. Dr. Hank really didn't like Adrian. I remember one time Adrian and I were just hanging out in my room when Dr. Hank came by to check on me. Of course, Adrian couldn't resist making his presence known. He just had to open his mouth. "Rue, I wanted to check on your—" Dr. Hank started. "She's doing great, Doc. I'm making sure," Adrian cut in, all smug. "I didn't ask you. Are you her assistant or something?" Dr. Hank shot back, clearly annoyed. "Nah, just her upgrade, someone she actually likes." Dr. Hank just sighed, looked at me, and said, "Rue, if you need anything, you know where to find me." Things seemed okay after that, aside from the constant tension between those two. But then, one night, I heard it again. Patients screaming, crying. It kept happening, night after night. And every morning, another patient would be gone, just vanished. I told Adrian about it, convinced something strange was going on, and urged him to help me investigate. Adrian immediately pointed his finger at Dr. Hank. "He's the most suspicious one here," he said. "He must be hiding something." So we snuck into Dr. Hank's office and started searching. We had to find something, anything. And we did. We found a bunch of shredded files in his trash. As we painstakingly pieced them together, I saw the names. They were all the patients who had disappeared. The record said they were eliminated. My blood ran cold. Oh my God, something's definitely off here. Adrian whispered, and hearing him say it made it all feel terrifyingly real. We were onto something huge. But just as that realization hit, something struck us both from behind, and everything went black. The next morning, I woke up to the smell of smoke. I looked toward my door and panicked. The evidence, the files we'd pieced together, was burning. I just started screaming. An orderly rushed in, trying to restrain me. "Ruth, it's okay. Calm down," he yelled. Suddenly, a powerful voice boomed. "What's going on in here?" It was Mr. Blackwood, the owner of the hospital. "Mr. Blackwood, everything is under control," the orderly stammered. I saw my chance. "Mr. Blackwood, this place is creepy. Patients disappear from here. The patient next to me, Amanda, she's been missing for a month," I pleaded. "Amanda," Mr. Blackwood said, with a strange look on his face. Just then, Amanda herself appeared in the doorway. She looked perfect, almost too perfect, but something was terribly wrong. She moved like a puppet on strings. "Hello, everyone," she said in a monotone voice. "I think Miss Rue here needs more treatment. She's delusional and even started a small fire. Perhaps shock therapy might help." "No," I screamed, but it was too late. Dr. Hank grabbed me and started dragging me out of the room. As I cried and struggled, he strapped me into a chair. I thought it was over, that he was really going to do it. But just as he leaned in, he whispered in my ear, "I won't do anything. Just act and scream." So I did. I screamed and thrashed, playing the part. Mr. Blackwood watched for a moment, looking satisfied, and then left. Once he was gone, Dr. Hank unstrapped me. "Rue, you have to stop," he said, his voice urgent. "Please, for the next few weeks, just keep your head low and act aloof. Please, I want to keep you safe." Even though he had just helped me, I couldn't bring myself to fully trust him. In a place like this, how could you trust anyone? But I nodded. "Okay, I'll try." After that day, I went quiet. I stopped talking to everyone. Adrian tried to approach me a few times, but I just couldn't speak to him. I couldn't even talk to Dr. Hank. It felt like I was losing my mind, just completely alone. I missed my mum so much. I was lost in thought, thinking about her, when I suddenly realized someone was standing right next to me. "Elizabeth, where were you?" "Hi, Mom and I were on vacation, but we're back now. Are you okay?" I told her everything, and Elizabeth hugged me. She was the only one who seemed to understand. Those who seek the truth must delve into the depths. "What do you mean?" "In the shadows below, where light fears to tread, answers lie hidden." Elizabeth's words kept echoing in my head. Delve into the depths. I had to find out what was going on beneath this place. I found it. A hidden passage leading down. My heart raced as I took the first step. The basement was spooky. Cold air rushed past me, sending shivers down my spine. I was about to be caught when a hand covered my mouth and pulled me back. "Quiet, Rue. It's me. I've been trying to expose this place's dark practices. Half of missing patients have escaped because I've helped them. But the others, something very dark is happening here. I didn't want to trust him, but if I wanted answers, I had to play along. Reluctantly, I followed him to a nondescript storage area, knowing it held secrets. Out of nowhere, the floor started to open by itself. We ducked behind a stack of boxes, holding our breath. People in lab coats came out from a hidden passage below and walked out like nothing was strange. Dr. Hanks started working to hack the passcode system. Suddenly, there was a beat and the passcode cracked and the doors on the floor started to open. We moved slowly, then couldn't believe what I was seeing. Patients strapped down and wired up like lab rats. It was worse than I ever imagined. And then I saw them, Adrian and Mr. Blackwood. They were arguing. We hid behind some equipment and listened. I told you to keep an eye on that girl last week. She caused so much trouble. Imagine if it was visiting hours. So many people would have heard. She's a nutcase. Who would believe her son? We need to be careful. Very careful. This tech is revolutionary. Soon everyone will want it. Just some brain reprogramming and you get the perfect citizen. No more unruly teens. No more dissent. Everyone will be controlled with a remote control. It turned out Adrian was Mr. Blackwood's son, and they tried to turn everyone into mindless puppets. Right then, Dr. Hank pulled out his phone and started recording everything. Unfortunately, I stumbled, making a loud noise. Mr. Blackwood and Adrienne spotted us. "You should have stayed out of this, you stupid girl." That's them both. Mr. Blackwood and Adrienne charged towards us, and it turned into a fight. Hank tried to hold off Mr. Blackwood. Adrienne came at me. I had to think fast. Adrienne was strong, but I had surprise on my side. I grabbed a metal tray and swung it at him. The nurse tried to grab me, but I twisted away. When he caught my wrist, I didn't hesitate, kicked him right where it hurts, and he dropped to the floor, yelling. Hank was holding his own, but there were too many of them. We were outnumbered and desperately needed help. Just when I thought we were done for, I heard it. Police sirens wailing in the distance, getting closer and closer. The cops showed up just in time, bursting through the doors. It turns out, Hank had sent them all the evidence before we even snuck in. Mr. Blackwood and Adrienne just froze as the police swarmed the room, shouting orders. An officer walked over to Hank and said, "You did good, Officer Hank. We'll make sure these people get the help they need." "Wait, Officer Hank." I looked at him, confused. He just smiled and said, "Yeah, I'm not actually a doctor. I was sent undercover to investigate this place. But Rue, I couldn't have done it without you." With all the evidence, the hospital was shut down for good. The real patients were finally free from the mind control and could start their true journey to recovery. As everyone was being led out, I frantically searched for Elizabeth, but she was nowhere to be seen. I figured she must have left with her mum earlier. Suddenly, a soft voice behind me said, "There you are. I thought you'd left." It was Elizabeth. I sighed with relief. I'd never leave without saying goodbye. she said, her voice gentle. "You are my true friend, Rue. You did great. But it's time for me to go now, right?" I nodded, my heart aching. "Something like that," I whispered. And just like that, she was gone. Elizabeth was never really here. Later, Hank found me. He said, "I'm glad I took this case." I found an old file of a little girl named Elizabeth who died here years ago. That's why I came to investigate. Maybe to him, Elizabeth was a ghost story, just a case file. But to me, she was a real friend. After everything that happened at the asylum, I wasn't going to let my stepdad get away with it. With Hank's help, we uncovered everything he'd done, and that jerk was finally arrested. I spent every single day by my mum's side in the hospital, just hoping and praying for a miracle. And then, one day, it happened. Her eyes fluttered open. She woke up. My mum was back. And in that moment, I knew that together we could get through anything.